Hey everybody, Nick here. I got a video for you today inspired by a comment on my Umnumzan video. A guy named Darth Vertus, longtime commenter, made the comment, wow, tastes evolving. I never would have thought you would say negative things about fit and finish on the Graham Razel or something like that. And that's a beautiful comment, and it inspired a line of thinking that inspired this video here today. So Darth, this one's for you. A really important concept in knife collecting or just being a connoisseur of anything, whether it's wine, watches, pocket knives, pens, luxury cars, is the idea of the hedonic treadmill or hedonic adaptation. And so I'd like to talk about that in the knife world, but it applies pretty much everywhere. In psychology, this is the idea that no matter how much better your life gets, you're never going to become 100% happy and live in a state of orgasmic bliss for the rest of your life. I mean, this is the case in life in general. You start off, oh, wow, I'm just out of school. I got a job. I can afford an apartment of my own. This is incredible. But then your happiness level, where you adjust to that. You're like, well, okay, yeah, I got a job. I got a place. But, I need a girlfriend and a dog, or a boyfriend for that matter. I don't care. And you jump up a little bit. And you get yourself a girlfriend or your boyfriend and your dog or your cat. And you're super excited about that. But then after a while, it adjusts. Like, yeah, I got a girlfriend, then I got a dog, but, I'm just in this crappy apartment. Maybe I want a house. So you get a house. Oh, my God, this is incredible. Wow, I'm going to be happy for... And then you realize, wait a second, but this is a really small house. And, my life would be a lot better if I was partner at work rather than just a basic drone. But then you make partner, and then you're like, wow, it can't get much better than this. And then you adjust, like, well, yeah, I'm partner, but and so on and so forth. Every time that you get happier, after a while you adjust to it, and you need more to be happy. Sucks, but it's just a fact of human nature and human psychology. And it's hugely important in any of these kind of connoisseur things, whether it's pocket knives, luxury watches, whatever. I'm going to use knives to illustrate. You're a teenager. You go out, you buy yourself a knife. You go to the gas station, you pick up a Z-Hunter. This is a real piece of crap here. I got a review of it in another video, which I'll put it in the comments. But it's just barely holding it together. But if this is your very first knife, it's incredible because, wow, it pops out when it no longer works. But, it fires right out. And then I can cut things. I can cut paper. I can cut, anything. And that's just incredible. And you feel really good because you got this. And it's like, wow, I have the power to cut things in my pocket. And you use it and you use it until it eventually breaks. And this guy has broken. And you think to yourself, okay, well, cool, that was great. I'm going to get one with better fit and finish. So after your Z-Hunter falls apart, you're on the look for something. And so you go online and you hear about these Spydercos. And they're supposed to be really good. And so you pick one up. And this is a nice cheap Spyderco. It's really expensive to you at the time because it's $40. Oh my God. But look at the fit and finish on this. The lock doesn't close on your fingers, unlike your Z-Hunter. And this part isn't gritty. It doesn't sound loud when you move the pivot. That's incredible. And this edge, compared to your Z-Hunter, it holds the edge forever and ever and ever. And that's great. Wow, this is such an incredible knife. This is really all the knife I really need. But then sooner or later, you realize this is kind of small and you want something a little bigger. And so you go to the Delica and wow. And the Delica is a great knife. But you're just blown away by it because the ergonomics are way better. And this knife, the blade is huge. And, it's only like $30 more than this guy. But you get all of this incredible, the lock bar action. This is just so smooth and so nice. And wow, this is the best knife ever. I don't need any more knife than this. And plus, I mean, come on, $70, that's a lot of money. I don't need to be spending any more than that. And so you use the Delica, and you love the Delica for a little while, but then you realize, wait a second, this is plastic. And I don't know, plastic, that's not that high quality, right? Maybe not. So you jump up a little bit. You go to something like, this is your Spyderco Chaparral, just reviewed. And this is just incredible because CTS XHP, that's a super steel, I mean, this is brand new powder metallurgy stuff. How can you even... That's just incredible. And the carbon fiber, this is carbon fiber, like they have on freaking race cars. This is incredible. Wow. Oh, my God. And that just blows you away. And then the fit and finish on this, I mean, compared to the Delica, wow, look at the difference there. That's incredibly different. And whew, sheesh. This is just such a revelation, and it's a gem, 100%. but so is the Delica. But you forget that, and you carry a chaparral for a while. But then you think to yourself, dangerous thoughts like, wow, this is a little sharp here. These are the kinds of nitpicks I make in my review. This is a little sharp here, and wow, this lock bar is a little thin. This isn't really perfect for everyday carry. And so you think to yourself, okay, well, there was a big jump from your Delica up to your chaparral. What if I jump up a little bit more? And, this is a $90 knife. I mean, okay, maybe I'm going to splurge. I'm going to go a little crazy here. I'm going to order the last knife I ever need. And you buy yourself a Sleesh Bowie. Your Sleesh Bowie is just, it's a freaking revelation. And it really is. This knife is a freaking revelation. Because, I mean, the fit and finish on this is just impeccable. It's damn near perfect in most ways. And the blade, the steel, is XHP, which is a great steel. And the finish on the blade and all the chamfering is good. And it's titanium. It's a solid titanium. Like they make out of... This is what they make the space shuttle out of, maybe. Probably. I don't know. And this clip is just great. And the design is just incredible. Oh, wow. This is going to be my last knife ever, you say to yourself. And you carry it that way for a while. For me, just a second, need some water. For me, the Sleesh Bowie actually lasted me about 1.5 years. And it stopped me from making any other purchases for a good long time. And part of that was because I was finishing up school, and that's expensive. But also just because it's a really incredible knife. But after a while, I kept reading online, people saying things like, well, yeah, the Sleesh Bowie is damn near a mid-tech. The quality is almost there. And I thought to myself, wow, what's a mid-tech? I wonder what you get when you move up to a mid-tech. And then I got one. This is a Graham Razel GMT. This is the knife that he was commenting on. And in many ways, this knife is pretty much perfect. And at the time that I first got this, it blew me away. Because the action here is just so smooth relative to anything I'd ever seen. Absolutely incredible. It's on bearings, which is completely new to me. And the flipping action is just, it's incredibly good flipper. It blows me away still to this day. This is a really, really nice flipper. And the finish is good, and the clip is good. And, oh man, this was it. For a very, very short period of time. I was a little too deep at this point already, but nonetheless. And, the Razel, though, just blew me away. But I kept thinking to myself, well, maybe there's something a little bit better. Because then I started to notice the little issues. For instance, there's some lock stick in this. I've actually fixed the lock stick, and I should make a video about that. But nonetheless, there's some lock stick in there. And also, the lockup is pretty light here. I mean, that's probably not a good thing, right? So, it's not perfect. And that right there is the battle cry of hedonic adaptation. It's not perfect. And so I went looking for perfect. And I've ended up in a bunch of other places, but then maybe you jump a little bit further forward. You're like, okay, well, God, I mean, 250, that was out of control, but 375 is not that much more. And God, compared to 375, 425 is just a little bit more. And so you go with your Chris Reeve Umnums on here. And this knife is actually pretty much perfect in a lot of ways. I mean, the execution of this knife is perfect because it's a beautiful action. I mean, it's even smoother than your Sleesh Bowie, and it's a different kind of smooth than your Razel, but it's a really smooth knife. And everything that's been done on this knife has been done really well. But then if you watch my review, I got my little issues with it, like here, the lock bar. Wow, that's a little bit sharp, so maybe I can do better. Or maybe another train of thought would be like, oh, well, the materials are okay. I mean, S35VN, it's a great steel. And it's worlds better than VG10 or CTS XHP for those of us who are steel snobs. Like S35, okay, wow. But man, maybe I'd like something with a little bit better steel. Maybe I'd like something a little more interesting. And so you jump up yet again. And you go to your Chris Reeve Nandi. And you decide, well, Damascus, this is it right here. This is it for me. And you get your Damascus and it's raindrop. And wow, look at this. This is 2 different billets of steel forged together with wood. And that for a while is just the bee's knees. And that makes you happy. But then you realize, well, hold on. This is very small. And, maybe, I don't know. Maybe there's something else out there. Maybe there's something more perfect. And then you go full custom. And you pick up something like your Grimsmo Norseman. And this knife is currently my favorite. It's the top of my totem pole. And, it's perfect. Functionally speaking, I just love this knife. And this is just absolutely incredible in every way. And the smoothness on this blows away the smoothness of all of these other guys. I mean, it just drops shut in a way that the Graham Razel doesn't, even on bearings. I mean, it does, but it's a lot less smooth somehow or another. But I didn't care back here, but now I do. And it's so bad that I even find myself thinking, well, wow, maybe once the Grimsmo brothers start a pre-order for the Norseman, maybe I'll get one in Damasteel. Upgrade the materials a little bit. I have a problem. Is basically the summary of this video, actually, is Nick has a problem. And you probably do too if you're watching Nick's videos. So that's kind of where I want to go with this, is that, not that it's a bad thing. Everybody does this, whether it's with wine or watches or luxury cars or whatever. Everybody's on the Hedonic Treadmill. But it's a good idea to keep some perspective. The Norseman is really, really, really perfect. I love this knife deeply. But I really loved the Razel when I got it, because then, to me, it was perfect. I didn't quite know about lock stick or fit and finish. I knew, but I didn't care. I'd never seen better. But once I saw better, this doesn't, the comparison isn't kind anymore. And compared to the Norseman, the Sleesh Bowie's got some kind of issues here. But it's an incredible knife. It's damn near perfect on its own. And so at any point, as is the Chaparral, as is the Delica, as is the Dragonfly, any of these knives are incredible, incredible knives. And so when I say, oh, that's not a gem, it's not a fan, there are knives I genuinely don't like, and I give my reasons for them, but any of these knives is great. But because of the Hedonic Treadmill, I am so used to really, really excellent stuff that I can find problems where there really are none. And so I want you to keep that in mind as you watch my videos, as you watch other videos on YouTube, and as you just go through your life. Is that, perfect is a moving target. You will always adapt upwards. The worst thing that you can do to yourself as a knife collector is to buy a better knife, because then the one you had is going to be a little less interesting. And so forth as you move up. I advocate for really high-end stuff. I advocate that you get a Norseman because, oh my God, it's incredible. But when you do that, everything else changes a little bit, and you keep running on the treadmill. So you just got to keep that in mind. There's no message here. There's no preaching. I don't know what the hell to say about it. I'm on the treadmill, and I'm going to keep going on the treadmill, because why not? It's fun to me. But realize that that's what's going on, and that perfection is elusive. You're never, ever, ever going to find it, whether it's in life, in knives, in wine, in watches, or the rest of things. There's always going to be a flaw, but you got to keep in mind the joy and the beauty that you have. God, that's preachy. I hope this has been at least mildly interesting, and at the very least, you've learned to identify hedonic adaptation in your life and in your collection. And, yeah, have a nice day.